Shut up and sit down.
You had your drinks, you dealt with your hangover, and now it's time for that annual idiotic question that you will no doubt be asked. What are your New Year's resolutions?
This year's gonna be awesome.
Let me tell you something, there is nothing, and I mean absolutely positively nothing, that you can do with less time, less talent, less energy, fewer resources, less commitment that will improve your life more than writing down specific goals for your life and reading them on a regular basis.
You are listening to the Dialed Podcast, version 2019. It's a new year with the same old rubbish from Matt Legrand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von Turing. Thank you for listening to me. You are free to tune out now.
It's 2019. I'm so happy.
Hey, what's up? You're listening to the Dialed Podcast. I am Jake Von Turing, and today I'm here with Evan Price.
How's it going, folks?
Matt Legrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs? How you guys doing?
And last but not least, Lance Epler.
It's Lance freaking Romance on location.
Freaking romance.
Intense today.
Freaking romance. Always gone and stuff.
It was.
Where in the world are you, Carmen Sandiego?
That was the PG-13 version.
Yeah.
I'm in Idaho, actually. Matt made a comment earlier before the podcast about being in Utah. I'm not in Utah. I'm in Idaho, which is just as cool. So I'm in Sun Valley, Idaho with the family. So we're out here having some fun for the holidays.
Nice. What's the weather like out there, Lance?
It is currently about 12 degrees outside. There's
Celsius or Fahrenheit?
There's a good no, that's Fahrenheit. It's stinking cold out there. So, but we've skied a couple days and we've been wandering around and having fun in town and just watching movies and just hanging out together as a family. It's been very nice. But yeah, it is cold here. It's sunny, but very cold, and a couple feet of snow on the ground everywhere.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Have you gotten some bicycling in?
I have managed to ride a couple of times. I did bring my whole Zwift setup with me, my smart trainer and everything, and I did ride it. I only did it like 3 times. I found it I had a hard time getting motivated enough to get on the trainer because I'm here with my family and we're hanging out, and it just kind of felt weird. But no, I would take my dog on a run every day. She runs very fast, so if I take my bike, it's funny. If I pull my bike out of the garage, the dog bolts up the street because she knows that we're about to get it on.
She's like, woo!
Oh, yeah. And she will run 10 or 12 miles, or something like that. And I can go 18 or 20 miles an hour and she will keep up just fine. Jeez. So,
wow.
Yeah. I have to pick the right streets so that I'm not in, spots where there's traffic and whatnot. But
did you say you went for a run with her recently?
No, a ride.
Oh, a run. Okay, I thought before that you said a run for a second, which that makes a lot more sense.
That's not happening. No, there's not a run happening.
Lance, come back to running.
I was wondering if that was just like the New Year Lance is just all right. We're running.
Turn you into a runner.
There are 0 plans for Lance running.
Cool. All right, let's get into our back pedal. Evan, back pedal for us, bud.
It's been pretty interesting last week. I have started to post on Strava now.
What?
I really haven't figured out how to use it entirely though, so I'm probably gonna get made fun of a lot here. I'm just like downloading manual workouts because I don't really I need to. Okay. I'm sure everybody here is gonna show me how to do it. I don't know how to link up my. It's just like it takes too. I just want it to be fast and not like. I have like 5 minutes to do this, and it's just like I'm looking at my watch, and I'm like, I don't know how to make this thing go on my phone.
Freaking technology.
I know.
Okay.
Like
after the podcast, let's sit down and do it because you can.
Okay.
All right. So for all of our listeners that probably already know this that aren't 85 years old, you can set it up to where. Your watch can even detect like a Wi-Fi network and like auto upload all your stuff.
That's what I want to do.
And it goes to Garmin, and then from Garmin it can populate other places like Training Peaks if you are into Training Peaks.
I don't do Training Peaks,
but it can automatically populate Strava.
Just populates it. Okay.
And so it'll automatically populate and it'll say something like morning run. Like
Yeah.
it's not a descriptive title. And then if you're Lance, romance, then the game begins.
Oh yeah,
because
the titles
it's
are
the title.
It
title
bothers me when people don't come up with cool titles. Like, why are you posting on Strava if you're not like? I can understand if you post like 10 times a week. Okay, 1 or 2 of those is just gonna slip in without
through. Yeah.
But if you're the guy who never titles, like, how boring is your life that you're not putting titles on that?
Evan, can we preface this by saying just like you are going to be the guy that forgets to title stuff?
No, for the record, I think I have posted 4 things in the last 2 days. All of them have titles.
Okay, well,
that's my
I know, but they're
promise
not.
on this
but
podcast.
once the process gets automated, it's just going to be
true.
like
That's true.
your
I'm
5
gonna
minutes is
forget.
going to be 0 minutes. It's going to be all automated, and it's just going to be like, bam, you're going to be off at work, and someone's going to be giving you kudos for your morning run, and you're going to be like, wait a minute, morning run?
Yeah.
That's when I change the title. I get a kudos from something, and I'm like, okay, go back, change the title.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I will do that. I will promise not to be the most boring human being on the internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside of that, not just still training. That's about it right now.
How's training going?
Pretty well actually. Just kind of getting serious back into the pool the last couple weeks, and the biking has been in big volume and intensity. At least 10 hours a week on the bike.
Are you doing a lot of that on Zwift?
No, just on the trainer making my own workouts.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, all power based right now. A lot of intervals.
Are you doing like lots of 2-hour rides, or are you doing,
I'm doing 1 4-hour a week,
Okay.
a couple 2 hours into 3 hours. So it's
how's
coming
that
up to about
4
5
hours on the trainer feel?
I've done long trainer rides before, so that for me is not a challenge. But it is boring. It gets pretty boring.
Do you put a movie on and just kind of like chill out, or
I'm big on YouTube. I like YouTubing.
Nice.
Because you can watch old races on YouTube. You can listen to music. The problem with movies is I got to pay attention to the movie. You don't really have to pay attention to a race. Like a race just happens. I don't want to pay attention to a storyline. Like I don't want to have to be hearing what people are saying.
Well, and plus when I get into the movie, I know my power numbers drop. So
yeah, exactly.
They drop so
You're
low.
all of a sudden just putting out like 100 watts.
Does that happen to anyone else? Am I the only one?
Yeah,
I'm the same way.
absolutely.
You see your power and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's
This is
under
why
100.
you got to be watching people doing activity.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I'm watching people on a couch talking, I'm not putting out a lot of power.
Okay.
But yeah.
This last week, I was on Zwift and I was watching YouTube, and I was watching a cyclocross race in Belgium.
Yeah.
And I was paying attention to Zwift for a moment, and I missed like the pivotal pass in the YouTube video, and I had to rewind it because there's too many screens up at the same time. I'm like, wait, what happened? How did that guy? Yeah. So.
I do find
Same
that I've watched a little bit of racing as well.
Cyclocross is fun to watch on.
It is. Yeah. And when I watch that, I look down and all of a sudden my watts are like 20, 30, 40% higher than what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting all amped up for the race. So
Yeah.
Matt, back pedal force.
Okay, so I was out of town. I think on the last podcast I called in and proceeded to get sick, and so I haven't done as much training. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'll clear my throat as best I can, but so I haven't been doing a ton of training. That being said, I came from the pool to here at the podcast in studio after swimming 5K. Swimming's going great.
5K straight.
5K straight.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Swimming's going fine. Just
Was that the Sharkies swim?
Sharky Swim. I mean, the Sharky Swim kind of fell apart this year. Like, Sharky Swim is like a traditional New Year's Day 5K, and we usually have a whole bunch of people do it, but no one wanted to do it or whatever, and so then they canceled it. But then there was a handful of us that were like, we're gonna swim 5K because we do this every year. So we had some people do it this morning and some people do it midday, which is what I did. It was fine, and I think I'm swimming decently. I just got to work on. There's more than one sport to triathlon, I guess. So
hey, but you've been putting in great yardage in the pool, like through the winter, like really good.
And it'll probably
yardage.
pick up a little bit the next 2 months or so. I'll probably kind of fall into a little bit more of a rhythm of doing some decent swim volume. But if I'm gonna go to this bike camp, this dialed cycling bike camp, I gotta put some volume in. I'm super scared.
Your backside will get handed to you if you don't come in with some preparation.
It's
so yeah.
I mean, even if I'm prepped and ready, I'm still gonna get destroyed.
Ah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of like
How much climbing is at this camp usually?
Last year it was about 75,000 feet of climbing over the 8-day span.
See, this is where you'll be okay, Matt, because you're a smaller guy. So as long as you're climbing a ton, and just you'll be okay.
Quit drinking beer. Is that what you're saying? And watch the calorie intake.
That doesn't need to happen.
Put that beer down. Just kidding.
No. We all know that the Tour de France used to ride off beer, so it's got to be good for something.
Mm-hmm. What you drinking over there, Matt?
Well, what's important is the Hopworks Abominable Winter Ale. Hopworks is one of Dialed Cycling Team's sponsors, and they make a ton of good beer.
Yeah, they do.
So we've got a kind of, which is interesting. Like, I ended up, Lance was joking earlier about, me bringing him stuff, but like I brought over beer and I was like, oh, Lance doesn't drink beer. Like, I'm going to bring him a sparkling water. And I know that Lance is in Utah. Like, I know, but like
Idaho.
Oh, sorry, Idaho. I keep thinking he's in Utah.
Nope, we're just going with it. You're in Utah, Lance.
We didn't just have that conversation, but yeah.
Whatever.
Lance.
Utah's fine.
It's an international man of mystery. No one knows where you are.
He's in Idaho, Utah.
Idaho, Utah. No.
How many beers has Matt had already?
Only 7. I've only had 7 so far.
Okay.
But I brought over 6-pack with a little sparkling water for Lance. Sorry, Lance.
That's kind of you. Thank you.
I tried.
Along with Hub, we're also trying to get Kirkland Sparkling Water to sponsor us now. What is Lance drinking today? Kirkland.
That's cool. Anything else, Matt?
Nope. That's about it.
Lance, backpedal, buddy.
My week has just been filled with family and fun stuff with my family. It's been a great week here. So I have managed to go alpine skiing a couple of times here in Sun Valley, Idaho. It was beautiful. It was sunny. They don't have a whole lot of snow, but we just had a great time as a family. I actually went snowshoeing one day, which was also really fun. And then the big thing was I got over 9,000 miles for the year.
Jeez.
So that was
What does that put you at per week? What is? Good
well,
God. What is?
I didn't ride January, February, March, or April.
That's what I was going to say. Like the first quarter of the year, you were like
9 months.
MIA.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Jeez, Lance.
That's over 200 miles a week. Dang.
Yeah, it was almost 300 miles a week average for the last 8 months. So that was big. I wasn't expecting to go that big. I ended up just wanting to ride my bike every day and managed to almost do it. So that was
ain't nothing wrong with that.
That was fun.
No.
That's good.
No.
Cool.
All right.
So it's been good.
I'll backpedal real quick, and then we'll jump into the rest of the show. I had a great Christmas. Had a low-key, nice New Year's Eve, and I rode my bicycle outside today.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if you could make it out. It's sunny.
Nice.
It was glorious. And for those of you listening to this, we are recording today on New Year's Day, 2019. So happy 2019, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we had a little New Year's Day ride from the gang that we do a lot of rides with during the summertime, the ice cream social ride. And they put on a little New Year's Eve ride or New Year's Day ride that I was able to join, and it was sunny out until we got into Vancouver, and it was not sunny, and it was freaking cold.
Do they do that?
Coffee?
Do they do that every year?
You know what? I think they did it last year too. I think I didn't join them last year or the year before. I was usually doing my own thing, but it was definitely super nice to be outside. So
nice.
And then the other thing is we had our team party at Hopworks Urban Brewery. It's starting to sound like we're doing commercials for these guys. We're not, but we do appreciate them as sponsors. But yeah, we had our end of the season team party there, and a lot of people showed up. It was a lot of fun and a lot of good camaraderie. And I again want to thank everybody for the stuff that they did for me. I got a really neat signed poster from the Cyclocross Crusade from everybody on the team who was racing cross this year. And I got this sweet, what would you call that? Piece of art, if you will.
Yeah.
Chain art. It mounted to a nice piece of wood that's got the Dialed Cycling Team logo in chain with a bicycle next to it. And that was made by a friend of ours named Mark. And it was super cool. And I was
cool.
Yeah, I was really pleased to have that. So I'll take a picture of that and post it for everybody to see. But yeah, just kind of thankful that it's a new year, because last year was kind of crappy on multiple levels, and losing friends and people crashing and getting hit by cars. But there was definitely some wins in there as well. But I'm just looking forward to a new year, and thankful to be here talking with you guys. So.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
On that note, talking about 2019, let's get into our first topic. 2019 goals. Not that we're cliche or anything, because nobody talks about that.
That
this
came
time
way
of
out of
year.
left field. Yeah.
But here's the thing: like, if you're making videos or making a podcast, any of that stuff, right? Where it's like, what topic should we? And it's just so nice to have like a little bit of help from being like, oh, 2019, it's New Year's Day. Like, let's do goals. Like, let's do.
Yeah, it's low hanging fruit, but it's fun and it's a reality. And I personally I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say on this.
I'm actually pretty curious on this. I think everybody's curious. Like, that's why there's so many articles and podcasts talk. It's interesting. It's always fun to talk about. What are you doing over the next 12 months?
Yeah. And sometimes you find inspiration from others and what their goals are. So it's kind of nice to share, and we'll share with you guys what we have. And if you guys want to post something up on our social media and whatnot, tell us what you guys have going on for your goals this year. That'd be awesome. And we'd like to track that and see how you're doing. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. And Lance, since you're on the phone and you're just sitting there waiting to talk, what are your goals for 2019?
Well, I usually have 3 different sections of goals, so I don't know which ones you want to hear. I'll stick with the cycling ones.
Let's take out the PowerPoint here.
Well, you can't retire again, so you've already gone on a million adventures. Let's just talk about the cycling stuff, so hit us.
Well, my first goal is I want to be able to stick with the 200 miles a week. I'd love to continue to ride 200 miles a week, and that, for me, involves trying to ride 6 days a week. And now I know that's usually difficult for me to do because I'm going on some trips where I won't have access to bikes and whatnot. But that's the big thing, is to try to keep my fitness up by going at least 200 miles a week. And I do want to stay married too. My wife just popped her head and said, "Do you want to stay married?"
Is that a stretch goal?
So they're all listening to me say this stuff.
So does that mean that one of those goals has to not happen?
That's right. Maybe.
Conflicting goals.
Maybe not. The other second goals, my racing goals, I want to try to make a podium in at least one road race, and I want to try to make a podium in at least one cross race. And you guys kind of laughed that should be fairly easy for me to do, but I'm not so sure. I think
cross race is going to be hard.
A lofty goal for me.
Yeah, your cross race is going to be much harder, but the road race is I don't think that's going to be a difficult proposition.
When you say podium too, top 3, or are you talking about top of the podium?
Top 3.
Top 3, gotcha. Well, didn't you already kind of do that in cross last year after getting upgraded?
I did, but in smaller, less attended races.
Gotcha. So you
want to do in one of the bigger ones,
bigger picture, more like Cross Crusade.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. I would love.
That's a good goal. That's
a good goal.
Yeah, so I think that's a pretty lofty goal for me to hit that, because I was lucky to be in the top 15 in a few of those races. So
maybe if I can get myself like put back together, if Evan can keep doing a good job on me, I'll be back and riding in the Cross Crusades, and I'll get that last little upgrade to join you. Are you Cat 2 or Cat 1?
And then Jake will ruin that goal for Lance.
Lance, are you Cat 2 or Cat 1 in Cross?
I'm Cat 2.
Cat 2. So I'll be racing the Cat 2s. I'll sit up there with you, and I'll take everybody out. And you just ride away, right? I'll just throw my wide self in front of everybody and slow down and throw elbows, and you just do your thing.
Just crash on every single corner.
Oh yeah. So those are my goals. I don't, making a podium in a road race. I just don't know what to expect. I traditionally, I know I'm fit and I can ride well right now, but I traditionally have not been very good with my choices in road racing. As far as tactics, my tactics have just been not good in road racing. I'll go too hard too early. I'll burn myself out too much. I won't save enough for the end. I'll get dropped on a climb. And so that to me seems like a lofty goal as well.
You and I can work on this, and you're going to have a half dozen other teammates to work with. If we put everything together the right way and we choose the right race for you to be the one who is supported, there's no reason why you shouldn't land on the podium, if not the top of the podium.
Yeah.
And I'll put money on that. So
yeah, I would absolutely put money on that too. Lance, I think also historically you weren't you didn't just come off a season of riding almost 300 miles a week either.
Right.
So I think in your memory, road racing was probably a different animal than what's going to be for you now. Like you're going to have a lot more matches to use.
That's true, but I also might be better used as support for another teammate.
Well,
it might be better for me to burn myself out to use myself up for a teammate instead of I have to look at that in every race.
That's
too.
the beautiful thing about our team, though, is that you will have the opportunity to do that, and then you're going to have the opportunity to be the person that is the one who is supported, and that is a very widely shared thing throughout our team. So you'll do just fine.
All right.
Any other goals that you can toss out that kind of loosely are related to your cycling endeavors?
I'm hoping to continue to at least do an adventure every month, and I'm hoping that I can always take my dog and my wife with me when I do that. So
nice.
Maybe I shouldn't have said dog first because my wife is listening. I'm hoping to take my wife and maybe my dog.
And then the dog.
Well, Piper's just a fixture of the
so it goes
Lance Romance
wife, dog,
vehicle.
Bikes. Is that how it goes, Lance?
Or
That's
is
right.
it? He didn't mention bikes.
Yeah.
Bikes are very high up.
Piper is currently sitting right on the couch next to me. She's all snuggled up to me because she wants me to take her somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
Evan, what are some of your goals for next year, bud? Or actually this year?
Yeah. So for 2000, I am I like making goals, but I usually make more short term goals. Like I'm very short term based, and that's actually where I think for me it just works better that way. If I set like a goal by the end of the winters, like what are the 3 things I want to do by the end of the spring, by the end of the summer, but I tried to look a little bit further. So for me, this winter, splitting the sports up into swim, bike, run, I have kind of a goal for each. I want to run at or under 1:15 for a half marathon.
Open half marathon or in a tri?
Open. In a tri, that's probably not going to happen this year, but open at Vancouver Lake Half, I want to go around 1:15.
So early.
Yeah. Okay. I want my FTP to be over 5 watts per kilo.
I thought you were going to say 500. I'm like,
no. Oh, my God, no.
That fell off my chair, man.
I think I'd have to. I'm probably 5 years behind that right now.
Well, you'd be ready for a pro team. You
No,
wouldn't be sitting here talking
I would
to us
not. I would
schleps
not
right
be
now.
in America right now. That's for sure. And then I want to swim 5-minute flat for a 400-yard TT for swimming. So those are like the winter goals, I would say. Beyond that, this year, I mean, it's kind of loose goals because this will be my first season racing against the level of guys I'm going to have to be going against. But I want to do 1 top 10, which I think is somewhat attainable. It's going to be hard, but I think that's somewhat attainable.
I think that's realistic.
Yeah, and then along with that, I'm going to have to. I want to go under 4 hours in a 70.3.
Wow.
That's going to depend on conditions and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, and there's a couple races I know that I'm going to do where conditions permitting that should be possible.
Right.
But outside of that, there is a side goal, and we were just talking about this race before the podcast. I want to win the Blue Lake Triathlon this year.
Ooh.
That's like a big one for me, and that won't even be a pro race technically for me. It'll be an amateur entry race.
Is that the one where you made a wrong turn last year?
Yes.
Okay.
You gotta know the course, man.
I need to know the course, and I need to.
Let's go ride it.
I need to keep my head on a swivel, kid. Is what I need to do. But
remind us, had you not made a wrong turn, would you have won that last year?
It would have been close.
Yeah.
To me, I think yes, I would have won. But if you look at the numbers, it would have been close. So. This year, it'll be better. There's going to be really, really good competition there this year.
Good.
And I would like to win. So, yeah.
Go get them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Matt, give us some goals, bud.
Okay. Number 1 on my list is to stay healthy. I think if I stay healthy, I'm not super big on like New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. My wife always asks me, what's your New Year's resolution? And I always say the same thing: run more. Because that's has always been the New Year's resolution, run more. I might not hit the same numbers that I hit in 2001, but so on my list obviously is going to be run as much as possible. I mean, it's for Lance, it's like, hey, I love biking, and for me, it'll always be, I love running, going out running trails and stuff like that. So, I have to balance the stay healthy and run as much as possible. And then obviously I probably talked about this on the podcast before, but I've signed up for Ironman Canada. So that's going to kind of be the primary focus. So I'll do a whole bunch of races, probably some cycling races. I'm actually going to do some swim races, some swim meets.
I remember you mentioning that.
Which would be crazy. I've never
I would love
really,
to jump in with I mean, I'm with you. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't.
Go off the blocks.
What do we
weird
wear?
stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll do a whole bunch of stuff. Like I'll do, some running only races, some cycling only races. Definitely like to do some, TT races, and a swim race, which is going to be really weird. And those are all like great and fun and exciting and stuff like that. But everything's going to be built towards Ironman Canada. So the goal for that particular race is going to be to like finish. And then if fitness comes around, then I'll adjust goals. And I could definitely see myself being like, hey, fitness isn't here. Let's make sure that we finish and have like fun finishing, like it's kind of, So I think it'll be one of those things where it's like, if I think I can be competitive, on an age group level, then I'll go for it. But if it looks like I have no chance of being competitive, I may just go and try to finish and have fun, which, that'll be all right. And then
just be proud of the effort then at that point.
Well,
That's
do that and then kind of start thinking about where I could be competitive, maybe potentially a different race or something. But so, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And really that only gets me through kind of like the first half of 2019. So the second half, will be that kind of mystery, like who knows what.
Cyclocross.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, that was a little subliminal thing that came out of nowhere. I don't know.
Came out of nowhere. Yeah. That was a ghost.
Weird.
There's a ghost in the machine, I think. Yep.
I know. Matt's building that sprint engine. I think he's going to jump into some track cycling races here coming up.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
I'd go try it.
I'd like that.
Yeah,
I'd totally try that.
That would be a fun thing to go and try as a group.
Let's do a podcast, like our whole podcast crew doing like a track thing.
I actually talked with Dustin
I would do that,
2 days ago about track and told him that I'm seriously interested in doing that. And they have...
I think of everybody at this table, Jake is the one who should be considering that because actually somebody who could be very good in that.
Yeah.
But they do it's like on a Wednesday or Thursday, they've got like kind of like an introductory to track kind of thing, and they'll teach you all the different races and like the techniques.
Can you borrow a bike?
They have bikes for rent there, yeah.
Okay.
And it's super cheap.
That's what I would do.
So you don't have to make like a massive commitment. It's just for me getting over there at the time of day that they do this stuff that's kind of a hassle. I mean, it's at the Alpenrose, which is like Southwest or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like a 30-minute drive from here, isn't it?
Yeah, that's with no traffic.
With no traffic.
So
you're about 40 minutes. Lance would know. But usually at the time of day that you got to get over there, it's like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and that's just like, driving through Portland's not fun. So definitely like to try that up. So cool,
good to think about because I would definitely consider that. It'd be fun to try.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right.
Some of my goals.
Yes. Let's hear it, Jake.
If you guys care.
I absolutely care.
For me, it's just I really need to keep staying on course with trying to get my shoulder healthy. I mean, this is we're 7 months into this thing.
Yeah,
it's been a long, arduous process, and Evan gets to see me more than anybody else because I'm coming to him for physical therapy. But we're starting to make some little steps forward. I mean, in the last and people keep asking me
the last month and a half, maybe 2 months.
Yeah, but most notably, like the last 2 to 3 weeks, I feel like I'm starting to gain strength that I didn't have before. Now I still have a lot of like the neural stuff that's like problematic there, but I feel like synergistically speaking, a lot of the other muscles are really stepping up, and you've been cranking on me pretty good and getting decent range of motion.
Yeah,
but I just really want it to stay the course with that. So I want to stay healthy. I want nothing to jeopardize that, but I need to get that range of motion because it really sucks. It limits everything that you do in life, and it's a constant daily struggle, but we're making little baby steps, which is positive. And I feel like the nerve is starting to kind of waking up a little bit in there. So anyway, enough me rambling on that. I just want to get through that process. I want to get to the point where we can have the last surgery that I need to have to get that full range of motion. And I want to just get past all that. That's like my number one goal, is to stay the course with that and be like the best student I can be as a patient. And the reason why I want to do that is because, to me, one of my big goals this year is I want to do really well in time trialing. I want to be able to get into that position. I know that's kind of a dumb goal for some people, just getting into a TT position, but I need to get into that position because the underlying seed there is we lost a friend and a teammate, and to me, who was a really good friend, Michael Myers, this year. And he was super keen on winning the state TT championship. And I mean, the guy did so much to get himself prepped and ready to go into that that position. I mean, he's a national level time trialist for his age bracket.
I have no doubt Michael was going to win that this year. Yeah, I have no doubt he was going to win it.
My goal this year, if I can be race worthy, I want to win the state championship in honor of Michael. So that's my goal this year for racing.
Yeah.
The road racing stuff,
That'd be great.
if it happens, great. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know how many races I'm even going to enter. I don't know if it's going to be safe. There's too many unknowns, but I think in my heart of hearts that I can get out there and do the time trialing, and I think I can push a nice big gear and go plenty fast and potentially win. So
we'll have to do some like specific training, which I think will be really fun.
Yeah.
And this is where, I mean, it's going to have to reflect a lot of that type of training that Michael would go and do. And this is why, I mean, I loved going on rides with that guy, was just because when we went out, it was, he would have in mind, like if we were doing 4x10, it was, I mean, you really got to see like, okay, this is what a true time trialing cyclist trains like. And I think for triathletes, it's different because we're like, oh, I'm going 4x10 in zone 3. And it's like, I mean, that's cool. And you need to do those workouts, but like,
it's cute.
But you got to see what, you're like, this is what a time, like,
you go from a fluffy workout to a workout with some true teeth in it.
Yeah.
That hurts. Yeah. You
and
really
I will
start
tell
to
you
get
what,
it.
hanging on, I mean, Dustin, if you're listening, like hanging on to the Dustin and Mike train was a painful train to be hanging on to. But I mean, if there's anybody in this area, I think that could hold a candle to what Michael was on that TT bike, it can be Jake. So that's,
well, I hope so. I mean, there'll never be another Michael, but I hope I can, at least, do his name some justice and honor. And, ride for Mike. But,
absolutely.
And I guess my only other thing for goals is just to keep fighting to get my weight back down to my fighting weight. That's this whole
a round table goal.
I think that everybody has that goal, and it's just that time of year where you're fighting through, and it's happening just slower than we always wanted to. But I'll be ready.
A few weeks ago, we had talked.
I know Lance was going to bring this
how
up.
many-
I knew
how many
Lance
pounds
was
that
about
we
to
would
bring
be
this up.
up or down.
I was so glad.
So where did everybody end up?
I've oscillated
be honest.
so much.
Uh-huh.
I think I said that I wanted to lose 10 pounds, and I'm like, through the holiday season. I think that encapsulated both Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yep, because it was right after or right before Thanksgiving is when that was done, right, Lance?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I hit the 10 right. I didn't gain it. I didn't lose it. I just got 10% of the 10 that I wanted to lose. I lost a pound.
Hey, only 9 more. Only 90% more.
Well, but I still want to, in total, lose about another 12 pounds. So, yeah. Well, I'll get there.
All right.
How about you guys?
Lance?
I was up 5 pounds. I've been there's just been too much good stuff and hanging out with the family. So I thought I would gain 10, I think. Or did I say I would be up 5?
I think you said
two.
You'd be up 5. Anybody wants to comment on that? I think it was,
Yeah.
I'm
up 5.
may have nailed
I'm
that.
right what I thought.
Yeah, kid. How about you, Matt?
No comment. No, I did not make a prediction. I would have predicted that I'd be up over the holidays, and I'm sure I am. But what I do, especially when I know I'm up, is I just don't weigh myself. So
I don't think
ignorance.
you don't look up to me.
Do you guys believe ignorance is bliss?
No, absolutely
it
is.
It's like my life motto.
Yeah.
I'm going to tattoo it to either my forehead or my behind.
So, just by show of voices here, because you guys can't see our hands, how many of you guys want to lose weight in, say, the next 2 months?
Yes.
We all do.
Evan, you're stinking skinny, dude. What do you even have to lose, though?
So I said that I was going to, I'm pretty sure, Lance, correct me if I was wrong. I said I was going to do 0, right? That I was just going to be the same exact weight. So I'm actually not making this up. I literally weighed myself this morning, and I weighed 156 pounds again. So but I oscillate. I do. I oscillate 4 up, 4 down, 4 up, 4 down usually.
I weighed 156 pounds in 8th grade.
This is yeah, but you also put out quite a bit more power on the bike than I do. But so
my left butt cheek weighs 156 pounds.
So for me to be at 5 watts per kilo here coming up, I need to be about that same weight, so maybe 2 to 3 pounds lighter, and
Gotcha.
I have to. I'm going to do an FTP test here soon. I think I'm at like 330, 335. That's what my workouts have been telling me.
All right.
So I got to have 15 watts on top of that.
Gotcha.
Which will take some time, but I think I can do it by the end of the winter.
Is it pretty easy for you to drop those 5 pounds if you really want to?
Oh, I could drop those 5 pounds in.
I think that's when I saw you before
yeah.
Chattanooga, which was what was that? It wasn't last summer, was it?
2 summers ago.
So I feel like that's when you were pretty skinny.
Yeah, I was 150 pounds.
Yeah.
Going into nationals this last summer, I was 150 pounds.
That was lean. Yeah.
That's my race weight. My comfortable holding weight is between 155 and 160, but I can drop 5 pounds in a week if I have to.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Maybe like over the next 6 weeks we can have a little.
We
who can drop the most weight? Yeah, we can do another cover. Matt and I've done this before. And it's actually quite.
I won that competition.
You kicked my butt, dude.
Really?
And you know what?
It sends me pictures of him just eating like raw, like cabbage and spinach and stuff
he goes
like
back
that.
to his cross country days. They're like wrestlers. Really, cross country runners are like wrestlers. They drop weight like
there was
that.
like at the very end of the competition, I was like, I'm gonna eat spinach for a week, and that was it.
Yeah, he's like, I smelled fish today, and I tasted some spinach.
See, I'm not as good at that. Like, if you told me like you have to drop 5 pounds right now, I'm very hard at adjusting my diet that I just always do. I just always do. Yeah.
But maybe we do a 6-week thing.
Yeah.
We can chime in on this every week. We can give ourselves update, and you're not allowed to join the competition until 1 week out.
Okay. That would be interesting. Oh, I'm actually in for that. Let's do. I'd be fine with doing that like right before I race Vancouver Lake Half because I'll be doing that same thing.
Lance, how many pounds is it for you to drop? Ideally,
15.
15. Oh. How about you, Matt?
Wow.
I have no idea where I'm at right now because I haven't weighed myself in a couple weeks.
So eat a ton so that you drop more.
I'm 10 pounds is to get to race weight.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think.
Okay. How about we do a competition, the first one to drop 10 pounds?
We can do that.
We can do that. So anyone that's bigger is going to have an easier chance. Percentage is, last time we did it, we just did straight weight.
True.
But we could do, why not? We could do 10 pounds.
You see, I would usually agree with you on that, Matt, but like honestly, like me being a low guy, like I do drop weight.
Okay, how about this then?
Yeah.
Because I only want to lose 12 more pounds.
Do you want to do
I'll do 12, you do 10, and Lance does 15. Lance has got all the time in the world to sit here and just burn calories, right?
But I'm pretty low already. But maybe that was a little aggressive. Maybe I should say 10.
15's
you want to backpedal on that a little bit, buddy?
15 maybe by like July.
How about we just do 10? Why don't we just call it straight
10
all
across
10.
the board?
First one to lose 10 pounds.
All right, you guys, you heard it here. 10 pounds.
Wait, so I need to weigh myself tomorrow morning?
Yep.
You cool with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll do the same. And
Can I eat a huge dinner tonight?
I'll weigh myself too. We'll update each other. Yeah.
There you go.
That's a key. You just got to drink a ton of water, eat a massive dinner.
I will send you a photo of my weight tomorrow morning-ish, and then I will lose 10 pounds and win.
And
what do you win? What are we going to win? It needs to be something.
An entire case of Kirkland sparkling water.
Ooh, sparkling water. Yes.
There you go. That stuff is it's addictive. It's pretty addictive. It's pretty solid too.
It's
cheap.
A meal
it's like only like $8 for like 30 cans or something like that.
$7 for 32 cans.
Yeah.
Wait, are you? That's actually what it is.
Yep, it really
yes,
is.
that's why
the price of the beer
of
in my hand right now is probably $7.
I was about to say I've had glasses of wine that were $12, $13. So
you could buy like 64 cans of Kirkland sparkling water with that
for a glass of wine.
All right. We will keep you guys up to date on that. If you want to join the competition.
Oh, yeah. That's a great idea.
Jump on in. Real quick, more about the goals. Why did you guys choose your goals? What drives you to choose the goals that you choose? Are they pretty consistent every year?
Yeah.
Do you change it up? Why do you choose them?
That's an interesting question. I always ask that with people. I like saying that you're choosing 2019 goals versus, just get into the semantics, resolutions. Because to me, I mean, honestly, what percentage of people that you have heard say, I am doing these resolutions this year, how many of them actually follow through on that?
Yeah.
It's got to be less than 5%.
I just posted a video today, and I was like, I don't really know about resolutions.
I hate the term
but I want to know what your goals are.
Yes.
Which I don't know. Maybe it is a semantics thing, right?
Yeah.
They're not that far off.
Here's a resolution. A resolution by nature seems to have like a punishment to yourself aspect of it. It's like when people do like binge diets, it's like a binge and purge sort of diets.
Yeah.
You're punishing yourself. It's only going to last for so long.
Yeah,
you're not going to be able to do it.
For me, it's like when you say resolution, it's something that you are or you're not going to do anymore.
Yeah.
A goal is a tangible finish line that you can
something
accomplish.
You're working towards.
Exactly.
Like you are working towards this thing.
To say, I'm not going to eat fast food anymore.
Yeah.
That's the
load
of hooey. So, but to say I'm going to if you're going to say I'm going to drop 10 pounds by March 15th,
or I'm going to run a 5K,
or I'm going to ride 10,000 miles, and I'm going to do this, that, and the other. Then or I'm going to do 7 bike races this year. Those are things that you can put on the calendar. You can map them out, and you can quantify all of them. So I don't know. That's just kind of the difference for me.
I completely agree.
There's a quote from Alex Honnold that kind of sums this up for me. Alex Honnold is the free climber who they just did that movie.
El Capitan?
Yeah, he free soloed El Capitan. Yeah, 3,000 feet vertical rock wall, and he did it without ropes and
not smart
and any gear. Yeah,
it's hard to do.
It's just crazy about that. But there's a new movie out, or I guess it's been out for a while, about that process. And during that movie, there was a quote that kind of hit me kind of hard. He has a girlfriend, a pretty serious girlfriend, and he was talking about his difference, how they both look at life differently. And he said, to her, life is about being happy and cozy. To me, life is about performance. And that I guess that kind of summed up a lot of what I've done with my own life for a while. That I'm always comparing myself to my former self, or to the people around me, or to the people that I'm riding with, or the people that I always have I'm always looking at the scoreboard, whether it's, my work, or how my family's doing, or what I'm doing athletically. I'm always looking at the scoreboard, and it's hard not to, and sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's too much.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find the balance in all that. But I think that quote from Alex kind of sums up why I'm always writing down goals or having goals, and I'm goal driven, I guess.
Well, and I think, I come from track and field, right? Like, it's like, you have to have a goal. Like like if you're going to go,
it's a very time-based sport.
Yeah. It's like you're going to try to break 5 minutes in the mile. Like, that is a goal. Right. By its very nature, it's just so, again, I'm not super big on New Year's resolutions, but like you kind of have to have a goal in a lot of the sports stuff that we, are so passionate about.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Completely. If going off people who kind of interesting quotes, Lance, I was listening to, if anybody here knows who David Goggins is, he's kind of a I wouldn't call him a YouTube sensation by any means, but he kind of has become popular through that. He's Lance, you may know a little bit more about him. He was he a SEAL? He was a military guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big muscular Navy SEAL guy who's turned towards endurance sports.
Yeah. He's very good in the ultra marathoning world. Yeah. He's done a sub 2000. He's just fast guy, or not fast, but just
he was like super overweight and then became a SEAL.
Yes. Yeah. I think if I was remembering the interview right, he said he was 315 pounds, woke up one day. And what I loved about this interview, he has a ton of interviews on YouTube, but this particular one, he was talking about how he didn't have a magical moment. He said and this is kind of the reasons I don't like resolutions too, is because you sit there and you come up with this resolution. Okay, now's the moment it's going to happen. Yeah. No, David said every single morning getting up sucks. He's like, it's not easy. Not easy waking up at 4:30 a.m. going for a run. Right. It's never easy. It never got easier for him. But he said, what you do is you set that goal in the short term. You say, today, I'm just going to do this and I'm going to do this. That's what I'm doing today. Right. I'm not thinking I'm going to lose 115 pounds or run 100 miles in 2 years. Because you roll your eyes at yourself when you make those goals. Now, to have that on the horizon, that's good. But as we all know in endurance sports, what do we do on a weekly basis? Jake just did a 12 to 14 week FTP builder. Mm-hmm. That was a daily basis. You need to do this workout. You need to do this workout.
Yep. Check the box every day.
Yeah, you check the box. This isn't, I'm going to go to the gym every single day in 2019. Well, don't make that goal because there's a good chance that you're probably going to miss a day or two. Yeah. So just make the goal this week. What are you going to do this week? Yep. What are you going to do today? Yeah. Yep. I think that's kind of how and that's what I'm even doing with my own like, I have now a weekly goal that I'm going to hit with my training each week. And it's a big, it's more training and more intensity than I've done before. But if I get through it today, I get through it tomorrow, I get through it the day after that. So that's, I kind of like the daily short-term goals a little bit better.
Well, me personally, I don't like jumping in a boat without a rudder.
Yeah.
you can go as fast and hard as you want, but if you've got no rudder, you've got no direction, and you don't have a destination that you're going to make it to, that you want to go to, you're going to end up somewhere, but it's not going to be where you want it to go. Yeah. So for me, that gives me direction, and it keeps me accountable. And I am big on that kind of stuff. When I put something on paper and when I say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it, especially when it's coming from me. It's not something that somebody told me you have to go do. That might change the paradigm just a little bit, but if I have something that I put down on paper and I said that I'm going to do it, then by golly, I'm going to do it, unless something like traumatic happens. But that does happen from time to time, folks.
I don't think the last 7 months was exactly planned, but
I had goals for last year, and obviously sometimes you just got to press pause. Life happens, and then you can't let that be a distraction or deterrent from you trying it again. So,
absolutely.
Are goals uber important to you guys?
Yeah, to me they are.
I think so. I mean, it's not who you are, though. I mean, like I really wanted to like qualify for the Olympic trials for the marathon, and you work so hard towards these goals, and that part of that's the process. It's like, like the reward is the process. And I never made it to the Olympic trials, right? So it's just like, okay, like whatever, life gets in the way, things happen. It's not looking good for me going to the Olympic trials now in the marathon. I don't think that goals are the utmost important thing. I think the process is actually very important. So I have goals, with triathlon and things like that. They may never come to fruition, but, at the same time, like, going through the process of saying, like, these are the steps that I need to take to accomplish this goal, I think that that's important.
Gotcha. Yeah. How about you, Lance?
I think I already made it pretty clear that I'm a competitive, goal-driven person.
Not at all.
And so that's always been a part of my life, always reevaluating every year and writing down new goals and new not. And I think Matt hit it on the head. Sometimes that is a recipe for success, and sometimes it is a recipe for disaster for you personally if for some reason you're not able to reach those goals. It can't be, I'm a firm believer that if you don't write something down and reflect on it, it's just a dream. You're not actually going to get there. So, I write down my goals and I, reflect on them so that I know what I'm headed for and what my rudder is, like Jake said. But if I don't reach something, I can't let it destroy my life, and I can't let the pursuit of those goals or accomplishing those things ruin the relationships around me, my relationship with my wife, with my children, with the people around me, with you guys. I don't want, I don't want to lose, relationships or injure those relationships just because of a goal. So it's, just trying to see what the big picture is, I guess.
I agree 100%.
I need to listen to you guys a little bit more. There's some real wisdom getting dropped over
here. So you're at a
like,
different age than us, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like,
so this is me being completely honest with myself, and I think this podcast has been going long enough to see I don't do well when I don't do exactly what I planned out.
Yeah.
I really go through some pretty big dips at that point, like self-deprecation sort of stuff, like not happy with myself.
Well, and angry at the situation and all these things, right? Where it's like, I think it would be easy for me to have pursued qualifying for the Olympic trials a lot harder and not spend time with my wife, at the time, future wife, all these things that you look back at and you're like, man,
you wouldn't have traded it.
Oh man, I have this amazing family now, and it's training for the trials, and I could have given up all this stuff and gone hardcore for that, and I still might not have made it, right? So who knows, right? But I think looking back, it's easy. It's you just have this amazing family, of course, that's the answer. But at the time, you're just super frustrated because, I was hardcore obsessive compulsive. You run twice a day. You don't miss a workout. You don't, you have to be if you're going to be into, sport at a certain level. But it's really a tricky balance for sure. And as you get older, that balance becomes more and more difficult, I think.
Yeah. I think too, as I get older personally, I think when we're younger, we have those goals that we'll put out there. It's kind of like reaching for the stars.
Sure.
You want to reach those stars. And as you get a little bit older, you put things out there that they're more attainable. It's not the low-hanging fruit, like I can go accomplish this in the next 2 weeks and be done, but you still got to work a little bit harder. So putting out there like something that's reasonable. I mean, for Evan to say, yeah, this year I'm going to go win, Kona Ironman, and I'm just going to be the man, and I'm going to get all these pro contracts. Yep, great.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Not going to happen.
Yeah,
not gonna happen.
But that could happen. But
I wouldn't even say maybe. That's not going to happen.
But for Evan to go and say, I want to qualify for that, then yeah, that's a good goal. And then once you get that ticket to go earn the right to compete with that, then you can maybe start thinking, all right, well, where do I want to place in that versus I'm going to win that. And
yeah.
Make it something that's difficult to reach, but not that low-hanging fruit that you're automatically going to get, or something that you'll never accomplish. They say, shoot for the stars and reach for the moon, or hope for the moon, or something like that. I don't know. Just
I completely agree with you.
Put it out there. Make it something that you can actually get, because there's a reward. There's personal satisfaction in achieving your goals that you set out to accomplish.
That's a good point with the
Evan,
goals. It's got to be that balance.
During my triathlon days, I had set a goal for myself to qualify for Kona, for the World Championships, and I put 3 solid years of effort into trying to qualify for the World Championships. I neglected family things, I neglected business things, I neglected church things, focusing on this goal, and then I missed it by 90 seconds.
Wasn't it? Yeah, I remember. Oh my God.
So this 3-year buildup, ignoring a lot of these other things in my life for this one goal that I was just hyper focused on. And then I miss it by 90 seconds. It was like 2 places. I needed to improve 2 places to get that pull down slot, and I missed it. And I was destroyed.
Yeah.
It was too much for me. I had put so much effort into this one goal that I realized, whoa, I'm out of balance. This is too much. My family is important to me. My future is important to me. I need to kind of scale back on what, I was doing. I've been goal driven and focused for so long that I didn't even consider the collateral damage it would do by ignoring all this other stuff. I needed to have that better balance, and I only learned it by like almost ruining the rest of my life because of this singular goal to qualify for Kona, which there's so many factors that go into that. It just and I'm not fast enough, period. It was like a pipe dream for me to do that anyway.
Well,
so
part of me thinks like the 4 of us that happen to be, sitting around the round table at the podcast might have that problem of like hyper focus on goals and to hell with everything else in life, right? Like this is the mission.
Yeah.
And so another question to ask the group would be like, how do you handle not accomplishing a goal? How do you a failure?
I personally have to ask myself what happened, and I have to assess the goal to begin with. I'm like, all right, did I put something out there that was just too lofty, or did I drop the ball somewhere along the way? And if it was on me, then I have to own up to that, and I have to recalculate, and I have to, try and find something that I can still like salvage out of missing that mark. But then, maybe it's like, all right, well then let's do this again next year, and here's my recalibration, and this is how I'm going to go about doing it.
Yeah, that recalibration is how I would. I mean, me looking back to when I sucked at St. George this year, I sucked on a hill. Like that was what killed me. So I actually ran and biked hills for like months after that, and that was just the recalibration. But I mean, like life goals, I think it's like Jake said. I think it's readjusting and looking at, okay, was this a me issue, or was my goal unattainable? Was it could I have achieved this if I would have done something differently? And if the answer is probably not, then I need to readjust what I'm looking at.
Yeah. Interesting. Lance, anything to add to that?
I know that me personally, if I don't reach a goal that I've been focusing on, I'm destroyed. I don't handle it well at all. It's like a character flaw, for me. And that's why trying to find that balance and be around people that aren't quite as intense as I am about certain things is important for me, because otherwise I don't know. It's just it can be too much.
Yeah. Do you guys generally find yourself? I mean, we're doing it right now with each other, and for everybody listening. But do you guys generally confide in somebody else what your goals are for the year, for a sense of accountability, or someone to kind of bounce said goals off of to make sure that you're A, not too lofty, or B, not like going to be screwing up your family life? I mean,
I'm super hesitant to talk about goals because I feel like that's like it's too personal.
Too personal, huh?
It's too personal, yeah. And there's this like fear of like I tell someone like, hey, I want to do XYZ, and then you don't do it, and and also I just it's I don't like to talk about my goals like before when we get this summer, and if I get to the starting line healthy or whatever it is for Ironman Canada, we will talk about my goals, and I'll roll through my goals, and I'll be happy to share it with a podcast. But it'll be hard for me to talk about it because it's they are personal to me, and you guys will see. And the way I'll lay it out will be like some that I think I can accomplish for sure, and then some that are extremely stretch goals. And and so I'll miss some goals. Like you will see some failures, and that'll be a little tough, but it's part of it, part of the game.
Good. Well, that's a lot of goal stuff right there, and I hope that maybe helps some of you. I'm very curious to see how this all plays out, and I'd love to hear from you guys too. So do feel free to chime in on that.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what other people like. I said this before. I posted a video, and I asked people kind of like what their goals are, or specific things that that they could post about, like how can we help you get your goals or whatever it is, like working on descending, working on running off the bike, working on open water swimming. Some people are scared of open water swimming, but like I would love to hear from our listeners here, like if they want to get in touch with us.
Yeah,
how do they get in touch with us?
Oh well. Before we say that, well, I'll say it right now. You guys can email any of us. Our first names are Evan, Matt, Lance, and Jake at dialedpodcast.com. You guys can email us that way. You can jump on social media. You can go to our Facebook page at Dialed Podcast, or the Instagrams. The gram, as Evan would like to call it, at Dialed Podcast there as well. Post up anything, comment on anything, shoot us private messages, whatever, we'll respond.
I would love to hear people's goals in particular.
Yeah.
If they have
and,
ideas.
I don't know if I've shared this with you guys too much, but in the last couple of weeks, I don't know if because people are getting new gadgets for Christmas or whatnot, but our listenership has actually spiked quite a bit with a lot of new listeners. So the people out there listening for the first or second or third couple times, and maybe you missed it, that's a great way to get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. And what I was going to say before all this stuff was, Matt, can you remind said people of this place that you post your magical videos?
Sorry. Thanks.
Really?
I try to post videos about once a week to YouTube, and my YouTube URL is youtube.com/mlegrand. That's MLEGRAND. And I'm going to post stuff. Again, I posted something today about kind of like asking people what their goals are, and are there things or topics that I can explore through videos, that could potentially help them with their goals. And so, absolutely, if you guys have ideas for things like that, feel free to shoot us a message here at the podcast, or potentially just drop a comment below the video that I posted. And one of the things I promised people was like a free triathlon sticker, which I should give you guys some of these stickers, from my little logo or whatever it is.
I have one on my work computer.
Do you?
Actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's up on my work computer.
It's I should give one to Lance for sure. He can, I don't know, put it on
the truck.
Put it on the adventure band.
On the adventure mobile.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I'm going to do a couple more videos and stuff like that, and definitely talk about a lot of swimming topics and things like that. I think is kind of what I have lined up. But I think cycling wise, there's a lot of stuff to explore. Yep. And Jake and I are going to do some fun stuff too eventually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's one of my things on my list of to-dos, and my personal goals with 2019 is to do more video-based stuff, and a lot of that will be with Matt. Should be fun.
Absolutely.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Let's do the hot seat, you guys.
Knock out the hot seat.
The hot seat. Yeah, we haven't done hot seat in a little while. Let's start with Evan again.
So I'm just going to throw, I know Lance has already kind of approached this topic, but I want to see how many hours of training, not like miles, like how many hours of training do you want to average through 2019? Let's say in
average or finish with cumulatively for the year.
We could say cumulatively, but I think most people probably think on a week-to-week basis. Like I usually have to do the math whenever anybody posts, like how many hours did you just do that year? You can say the total hours in the year if you want, but I actually don't know that number for myself. Yeah. We may have to.
Okay, I'll start.
I love that everybody just grabbed their phone to go straight to their calculator right there.
No, I'm gonna triathletes should have a slight advantage here, just because
absolutely,
we're
working with 3 different energy systems.
We're working with 3 different energy systems. You can swim and then have no problem going out biking or running or whatever it is. So I'm gonna say 12 average, which may even potentially sound low. We have these like goals of being like, oh, I want to average 20 or whatever it is, right? Like, and I know that I will hit 20 and potentially even higher than 20 hours in a particular week as I'm doing Ironman builds and stuff like that. But I'm thinking about like after Ironman, I may be swimming a little bit, running a little bit, and you can definitely add a lot of time to your weekly average with a lot of biking, but I get busy with cross country, and I think potentially 12 is for an average for the year. 12 might be
12's
about right.
Pretty good.
12,
it's still pretty
solid,
good,
right? It's a solid, but like you'll have.
I was actually looking at some guys average, like guys who you think these pros who do these massive training blocks. Some of them are like 18 hours for the week.
Yeah,
but that's because they go through. Sometimes they hit a couple 8-hour weeks in a row, and that brings your average way down. So.
Yeah, and I'll hit 20, and I'll hit 4. I mean, it's just going to be what it is. For me, work gets super busy all of a sudden, and the working out has to be put in the backseat, and family vacations and stuff like that. So yeah.
How about you, Evan? What was yours? I know it's your question, but I'm curious.
Yeah, I know, I'm curious too.
Mine is, and I actually am trying to really calculate this out, like. Specifically, because I really do think my body responds to a certain level of volume. As Matter knows, I train high volume, so I'm trying to go between 20 and 22 hour average.
I was going to guess 20. Yeah.
Which I mean, my weekly basis during this entire next 3 to 4 months is going to be 24 hours a week. So that should bump up my average quite a bit.
Add to that, you work roughly 50 hours a week?
50 usually. Yeah.
It really is unbelievable. Like,
jeez.
I am a fan of yours. Like,
there are a lot of things cut out of my life to make that happen. Though I do understand.
Yeah, we'll be lucky to have Evan around on the podcast.
That is
next year.
It is nice. It is nice that you carve out time for the podcast.
I make time for social life. I make that very important.
He runs to the podcast and he steals a bike and rides home, and then he stops at the gym on the way home and jumps in the pool. And, that's funny. Lance, yeah.
My goal is about 15 hours a week. I guess I didn't want to be too aggressive with that. I mean, but that's I averaged just under that this last year, and so I don't think I want to do a whole lot more than that. I still want to live some life too. So
I think from cycling, Lance, 15 hours a week for an entire 12-month period is huge.
That's crazy.
That's a lot.
That is really good. Yeah, that is good.
I know. It's one sport.
Yeah.
It's like,
Mine is the same for
15.
15.
No, the same
12.
as it's been for me for the last 7 or 8 years, and it's just 10 hours a week.
10.
That's all, and that's not including any off the bike work, like any kind of like Pilates or yoga,
strength
or
work for the shoulder,
strength work and physical therapy and all that crap.
Counts.
That no, I'm not going to count that. I'm just talking about time on the bike because that's really for me. Like all I'm really managing.
I'm kind of surprised only because I know you're coming back from an injury right now, and and what was your last week? Were you? Oh, I bet you were over 10.
No.
Oh no.
No, I was only.
I've been tracking your Strava. You're at 8 or 9 hours lately, aren't you?
That's about what I've been averaging, and it's come down a little bit. I was trending up. I was getting close to that 10 hours.
Yeah.
And I, starting to add a little bit more specificity in there, and a little bit more interval stuff and whatnot, and that trims down the time. The program that I'm jumping into right now, I'm getting acclimated to that, and I'm kind of spreading it out. Like it wants you to do this 7-day-a-week thing, and it's gonna take me 2 week to finish a 1 week block because I'm going to be peppering in some more like endurance based stuff. So I don't want to get too specific, too sharp, too soon because it's too early in the season. But for me, it's just all my body. I know it. I've done 12, 14, 15 hour weeks like Lance, or I've had weeks where it's been slim pickings, but for me that happy sweet spot is just 10 hours, and it's not just for the happy sweet spot for my writing, it's my work life. I'm I have a lot of things, a lot of responsibilities for myself and my work life, and then there's the family stuff too.
Totally life balance.
I got to get to kids' swim practices, and I got to go watch soccer games, and I got to be at home to take care of laundry and dishes and cook meals and stuff like that. I'm a part of that process.
And you have the energy to do that.
Yeah.
And if you're doing 12 to 14 hours, I mean, trust me, like I've talked with my friends about this. If I hit a certain type of training week, it is hard for me to get off the couch sometimes, and it is a real challenge to stand up. And I think couldn't do that with kids.
I think like 7 is like the closer to life balance number
for just riding bikes.
For anything, right? For anything where it's like
that's 7 to 8 range. Maybe.
7 hours. No, 7 hours where you're like, hey, I try to get in roughly 2 hours once, and then you have a day off or something like that, and the other days are like an hour, and you get your exercise in. Like that to me seems like a life balance type thing. Yeah. And none of us were like, hey, 7.
No, but at the same
all
token,
of us were like 10, 12, 20.
We're all very competitive.
Yeah,
we want to, do our thing or racing, whatever it might be, at a high level. And I think that if you're going to just poke in that 6 to 7 hour time mark, if you're okay with being that Cat 4, Cat 5 guy, and that's where you want to be.
If you're okay with that, what's me and Matt's 30-second power?
Dang it, Jake!
If you're okay with whatever that power is.
You guys kill us in a whole different way, in different sports and different disciplines. So, but anyway,
that's why
I just think if you're comfortable with that and that works for your life and that's where you want to be, then great. But for me, if I want to compete at a Cat 2 level, you're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. You've got to be putting in.
It's got to be 10 hours.
10 hours
it
plus.
Has to be 10 hours. Yeah.
So you're right.
Yeah, that's just my 2 cents. So cool. Matt, hot seat.
Hot seat question?
Yes, sir.
All right, I've written down a couple things, like some hard questions and some easy questions, and I'm looking at
softballs.
I'm looking across the desert at Lance and
into Utah.
I'm looking across the interwebs, all my lovely people in the interwebs. I'm gonna go with the first one here. What's one thing that you should be doing to make you a better athlete? So
off the bike.
No,
are you saying?
I'm just going to give an example to kind of like help, I guess, direct the question because it's a little bit aloof. But for me, it's like weights, right? Where it's like, I can definitely go swim. I have people to swim with. I have people to bike with. That's great, and I love running, so it's easy for me to go like sneak out the door and go hit my trails that I love. And I know I would be a better athlete if I did blah, 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 right? For me, like if I went and did weights and stuff like that and really, worked on plyometrics and things like that, I think I would be a better athlete. What's the one thing that would make you a better athlete if you did consistently? Let's go with Lance since he's across the interwebs.
All right. So one thing I'm not doing right now, but I think one thing that would really help is hiring a coach.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you had a coach,
Absolutely.
you'd have a plan, you have accountability, you have somebody to report to. When you're having a difficult time, the coach would adjust that plan or say, you need to add a weight session here. You need to put a swim here instead of this run because your Achilles is still not right. That's what I think.
That's a good one.
Good call. Yep. Good call. Jake.
For me, it's probably more stretching. I am terrible about that. I will get into the routine. I'll stretch for like 2, maybe 3 days straight, and then all of a sudden 2-3 weeks go by. I'm like, crap. Last year I forced myself. We did a full yoga program, and that was good for building flexibility and some core strengthening. But I need to be told and chastised for not to go stretch. So that's big for me.
Mm-hmm. I got 3 things. So and I've already made small adjustments. I'm making a monthly adjustment to my diet. Okay. I'm trying to every month I'm taking 1 or 2 things out and adding 1 or 2 better things.
Let me just remove this beer from you.
Yeah, beer hasn't made that list yet.
Yeah.
So that's a big focus for me. Another one is going to be at Movement Revolution. I'm trying at least once a week to be doing plyometric and strength training. Yeah. At least once a week. That was absolute, and just being around that group at Movement is good because it's just like we talked about how training by yourself can be exhausting sometimes. It's especially strength training. I got to be doing with people.
Yeah.
Cool. And then recovery.
Yeah.
Recovery.
Sleep. My sleep was crap this last year. It was.
I mean, your schedule is unbelievable. I hear your
But I
schedule,
still
and
got to be able to like I can still cut that like half hour of sitting on the couch at the end of the night and just make that bedtime.
Yeah.
Like
tough,
it can
though.
still happen.
Sometimes you have to have that downtime where you can just
Yeah.
like veg out. You have to have that for just your sanity.
Screens, though, suppously screens before bedtime is bad.
I know. I'm bad at
that's
that.
what I've read.
I'm
I don't
bad.
know.
It
but
is,
I read it on the screen. When it was supposed to-
The screen told you that?
Yeah.
Did the thing that you weren't supposed to be doing at 9 p.m. tell you that?
Yes.
All right, Matt.
So yeah, I mentioned this briefly when I asked the question, but like I think weights, because I really can use weights as like almost a stretching piece where I don't have to hit like heavy weights. In particular, like this winter block when I do tend to do like more swimming stuff, I think the weights can help me in a number of ways. Like with my weights, I do some like plyometric drills and some drills that I'm supposed to be doing for PT. Like that's part of my weight routine, and that helps me, kind of like do a couple of things.
Especially for your Achilles, the progressive plyometrics are very important.
And my body can move really well in like one plane, but not other planes at all. Like I can't go side to side. And so, having those pieces as part of my weight routine, I think helps. But I got to do it. And it's not that much time, right? Like, it's like we're talking about 15 minutes. Yeah. I can get a good workout in 15, 20 minutes.
And
like,
we're talking to people who just talked about training
for
over 10 hours a week, every single one of us. And we're all sitting there like, I need to make a goal to do 7.5 minutes worth of stretching every single day.
Exactly. And it's like, can't do it. Can't do it.
Can't fit in the schedule.
You
it's
asked
not
me to
going to
go,
work.
can I sneak an hour bike ride in? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Let's do it. 3:30 a.m. Yeah, wake up, go home.
Oh, yeah, I'll go biking. Yeah. It's hard because it's like, I think it's probably all the stuff that, like we don't love as much.
Yes.
It's like, you asked me to go like climb around Prune Hill on the bike. Like, absolutely. I can do that.
This is and this is going way off the rails here, as we usually do. But I mean, when I always, I deal with a lot of patients who are endurance athletes, but then I deal with quite a few patients, as Jake has seen, who are not endurance athletes. Right. So there's with that population, it's easy to be the endurance athlete that rolls your eyes at the person who's like, I just can't fit working out into my schedule.
Yeah.
But I have to shine the mirror on myself and say, well, I just said on Sunday that I can't meal prep, and I definitely had time for meal prepping. I just decided to train instead of doing that.
Yeah.
So it's just making it a part. It's making it a habit, and that's why I try to tell those people. So I was like, you don't have to change your entire life.
You should come over to my house and we can meal prep together.
We should.
And that, I mean, because
cool.
I gotta win this competition right now. Like I have 10 pounds to lose, and I will win. Like I'm laying that out there. It's inevitable.
He's calling a shot right now.
I am slightly competitive, by the way. So
I love this. We have way too much competition for this.
Yeah.
This is
that's fun. Everybody answer that question?
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost track.
I like that question. Yeah, that was a good one.
All right.
Lance, go ahead.
All right, my question is a bit of a softball, but it is for the newbies who are listening to our podcast. And it is, what should you carry with you when you ride? What do you carry? What's in your pockets?
Oh, boy.
Good question.
Always have a phone with you.
Phone.
Oh, good call. Good call. I mean,
Phone?
the easy answer is flat repair kit.
Yep.
What goes in your flat repair kit always?
Okay, so
are you a tire lever or no tire lever guy?
Tire lever.
Always. Yeah.
I think what I have is a really small hand pump with a tire lever like taped to it, and I put that in.
Thing?
No, it's just like
the
one I have is like the orange.
Small
I don't remember what it's
back
called.
pocket.
Yep.
Do you know which tire lever that is? It's like orange. It's
probably. Is it Continental?
No,
I'll Park Tool one.
We'll come back.
Blue.
Come back to me
Blue.
on that one. It's some weird name of one, but it's nice and solid. Like it doesn't break. Yeah. But I should come up with something more creative than tire repair kit because it's a better
nutrition wise.
Nutrition. Yeah.
I will decide before the ride if I'm going to go no nutrition or put nutrition. Yeah. But I actually will make that decision. I know some people are like, you always got to go out with nutrition. Sometimes I like going without. It's kind of risky. It's kind of fun. But usually like 2 Humas and like two Humas, I would say. And then I'll sometimes have a spare water bottle shoved back there too.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about you, Lance?
But always the phone.
I always take ID with me, some kind of ID.
Yep.
That's smart.
And then I take a flat repair kit with me. I always usually have a multi-tool with me.
Yeah.
And that's usually it. If I'm going out for less than 2 hours, I rarely take nutrition with me.
Yep. Does anybody during the winter bring like extra, like arm warm? Is anybody here an arm warmers guy?
I like arm warmers, but I start with as much warm stuff on and then I ditch it, or
just put it in the pockets. Yeah.
I don't bring arm warmers to put on. They're usually on me, and I'll take them off.
Yep.
But and I generally this time of year, arm warmers are like the furthest thing from my mind. It's just like full on base layer.
Yeah.
So
just Under Armours.
Like today was like survival mode. I was so freaking cold.
Yeah.
Like I could have used about 4 more layers of fun stuff to keep me warm.
There was a little bit of what looked like snow on the roads
was
early this
really
morning when I was driving home.
Yeah, it was frosty out this morning. There was some slippery spots. There was actually
Lance, you're not allowed to come back. If you bring snow back with you, I am going to be so mad.
But did you see the ride that I did today?
I saw the picture. Yeah.
Were you just riding on snow? I didn't see it.
It was 10 degrees when I left the house.
It's like, how do you get your toes warm?
Degrees.
You can't ride. Nothing you can do.
It was a tidbit cold out here, Lance. It was 40.
It was almost 40.
Yeah, there were a couple roads. They were completely snow covered. There was ice sections. I was on my gravel bike. I do not have spikes on those tires. I probably should have, but I had full on winter boots. I was not clipped in.
That's awesome.
And my toes were like borderline frostbite when I got back. Of course, I left with the plan of going for like 30 minutes, and I was gone for an hour and 45 minutes because
typical Lance form.
It just was so pretty. I just couldn't stop. I just kept going.
That's cool.
So, but when I got back, I was frozen.
Yeah. We were 10 degrees warmer than you here when we left Farra this morning. It was 30 degrees, and it was still freaking cold. So, kudos to you for duking that out.
It was chilly. All right, next question.
All right.
This is Jake's. Yep.
Jake's.
This kind of goes in the vein of the whole New Year's resolution thing. I hate New Year's resolutions. It's like, it's almost cliche to say that, but I just, again, like a goal. But what is one thing that I'm not saying that you're going to make this resolution, but what is one thing that you would like to give up this year?
Okay, so what? Yeah,
you don't have to do it. It's just like, what would be great if you could just give it up?
And by nature, with every goal, there is things that you have to give up. Like, very rarely is there any of the goals that we've mentioned. And it's like, yep, I'm going to be doing everything that I've been doing exactly the same.
I'll broaden it just a little bit, or just do a little bit differently. Just like, what are some tweaks that you would like to make this year to yourself?
I'll go first here because I already got mine in my mind. So this was actually an end of 2018 thing that I did, but this is one I'm actively doing. Anybody who has seen me at work for a while, my breakfast was, and I am not making this up. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this on the podcast before.
No, you haven't, but
I had, and Matt already knows, I think. I
have some things to critique you on.
I had so this was probably for, I will say it was after Santa Cruz. So this was from September probably till, let's say, the beginning of December, halfway through November. I had an energy drink, a Snickers bar, and a banana every single morning for breakfast.
Jeez. This is exactly what I was scared
that
of
was
you saying.
After swimming 4K.
Yeah.
That was my breakfast.
Yeah.
And that was not having eaten breakfast prior to the swim. I swam almost 3 miles each day. Just that was it.
Did you find that you were almost addicted to that? Like you were like craving it. And you had to have it.
Heavily addicted to energy drinks.
It's that energy drink thing, man.
Heavily
that thing kills
addicted.
me. That to see you drink that, I'm like, I almost knock it out of your hand. Of course, I'm sitting here drinking beer.
I know. I used to have Mike Stats in the morning. Always, he was my morning patient at that time, and he had mentioned to me all the time, and he told everybody around, he was like, every single time I go in Evans for breakfast, having energy drinks and a Snickers. So I am now 7 weeks without an energy drink or a Snickers.
You're doing great.
Neither. And I am I'm not even like casually like, oh, hey, you're pretty tired. You want one? No.
It's going
to be like cigarettes to me. I'm not going to take it.
It's totally like cigarettes. You know Nate, who we've talked about on the podcast before.
Does he do energy drinks?
He does. I think it's a Snickers, like mid ride.
He has mentioned that
awesome.
to me. Yeah,
which mid ride you can kind of understand, right?
Oh
but
yeah,
like it's
I've done Coca-Cola's mid rides and have no shame in that. That's absolutely fine. But it's
totally
different when it is
your
energy
breakfast.
drink on a daily basis. There's things that go into that are just not good for your cardiac health.
You should probably avoid cereal as well. Cereal, there's nothing good there.
I don't do cereal either.
But like, I don't know how you can find some sort of good solid breakfast to eat. But like,
I do
oatmeal
now. Yeah,
oatmeal?
Right now I'm doing bagel,
hard-boiled
bananas,
eggs.
But that's what I'm going to do. Is I need to start making hard-boiled eggs again.
Yeah. There's lots of easy things out there. We just get lazy and complacent.
That's exactly what it was. It was a lazy and complacent habit for me.
Sure.
But yeah,
that's awesome.
That's mine.
How about you, Lance?
I would like to cut down my screen time. I think I spend way too much time staring at my phone. And
don't quit posting to Instagram.
That's because you're a small. Like, you're like a
that
level
goes-
C celebrity, so you gotta check your phone. Like you gotta give the followers what
He
they
needs
want.
a publicist now. Hey, post this to my Instagram.
I think I spend way too much time on social media too. It's just it's too much. I love the interaction. I love seeing what people are doing, and I love sharing cool things I've done. But it's a snippet of my life. It's all fake.
Oh yeah,
It's not fake. I mean, it's not like you're not doing these bike rides.
yours is much more genuine than I think your typical Instagram model. So that's
I will say that I enjoy your photos.
Well, thank you.
Can
But
you
I
please
think
at
I
least
do
post
too
the
much.
photos still?
I mean, I agree. It's so easy to get wrapped up in like, I'm going to scroll through every single thing here and, make a, snarky comment when Lance posts something. Like,
Right.
it's easy to
we
get
can't
wrapped
stop
up in that. But I definitely think it's easy to let that distract you from actually accomplishing, whatever XYZ goal you have. It's a rabbit hole for sure. Yeah.
Do you find that it ebbs and flows for you in terms of how much you engage on social media?
Yeah, sure.
For me, that's big time. Like, there's times where it's like, oh crap, it's been like 2 or 3 days since I've gone in. Like, I love Strava. I love encouraging people. I love seeing what they're doing. And I honestly, I want to keep track on what you're doing. I love seeing the ride photos for everybody and their different things that they're doing. And it bums me out when it's been a few days that I haven't been able to go on there and give people a little kudos or make a comment because I'm genuinely interested in that. And then, if that's happening, it's just like, I can't dive into Facebook. I can't stand Facebook land anymore. I'll go on and sometimes I'll see like the first couple of things and either it makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit or maybe I'll see like a cool running picture that Matt posts. I'm like, oh, hey, cool picture. I'll give that a little thumbs up. But then it's just like straight into the team stuff. And then Instagram, I love Instagram. I just hate the whole thing that they've got. I used to like it when it was all chronological in terms of the posts. So I knew where I was at. Now it's just like there's so many like advertisements in there. There's you'll see people, then you'll see the same thing 4 times, and then like I won't see anything from a particular person that I enjoy seeing their pictures. So you got to go seek them out. So I just find that I'm not on there quite as often. Kind of frustrated with that, but it does ebb and flow for me. And right now, for the last couple of months, I've been super busy trying to play catch up with everything, and I just haven't been as engaged as I would normally like to be. But maybe that's not a bad thing, right?
No, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Matt, what was one? Wait, did you say it? No, you haven't said it yet. What's one thing you want to give up?
As I sip on a beer here, I do lose weight when I don't drink as much beer.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give up, but I'm going to give up food until I win this competition.
Now, beer does not count as food, correct?
No, beer.
Okay, good. Okay,
beer's
there's a salad in every beer.
Well, there's your carb right there. So yeah,
it's all the nutrition that you need.
It's technically from a plant. Is that a vegetable? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like a salad.
Yeah.
Salad in a can.
Oh, so Lance was social media. Evans was giving up the
energy drink.
Energy
drinks,
drinks
and
and
you've
the
been doing that
Snickers.
for 7 months. And what was yours, Matt?
7 weeks, not months. Yeah, weeks.
I will definitely ease back on beer. For sure. That's I just need to be a little bit more particular about my diet for a little while. A big block, and I'm very fearful of this training camp. I need to be in decent condition when I show up. So, and even if I like go full bore and I'm, perfect, on day one, I'll still get destroyed at that training camp. And so, I'll need to be smart, when I'm there, and I probably won't attack too many times off the front.
I'm more nervous for when you guys all come back, and then I go for that next weekend to ride with you guys, and Jake's going to all of a sudden be Superman, and Lance will just have ridden 600 miles, and I will be right at the same riding volume that I've been at.
Lance will bike home from training camp.
Yeah, I know. And you guys are going to come back, and I'll be like, all of a sudden Lance will be climbing next to me. I'll be like, oh God, this is not good.
Lance will be motor pacing, Brandy driving the Lance Romance mobile.
God,
that's right.
Yeah. I'm with you, Matt. I'm also scared of these cyclists.
Yeah. For me, one thing that I would like to do differently is just really dial in. I've been working really hard at like time optimization and streamlining my process. I'm one person that does several things, and sometimes that can be a little overbearing. My wife, who now listens to this podcast regularly and has been calling me out on different things, thanks for that. She listens, and she might appreciate this too. I want to really optimize my time so I can make sure that I'm doing well with all of the goals that we've already talked about, doing all the stuff with the team and the work and the business, but I want to make sure that I'm making my kids and my family a priority, spending more time with them. So this year we've already started planning some vacations, some camping trips and things of that nature. I want to make sure that I'm present for those. So she started to plan those things, and the only thing that I really told her that we need to keep a lookout for was a state championship, and make sure that there's not a camping trip scheduled on the same weekend for that. Because as I mentioned earlier, I want to try and do as well as I possibly can. And
not only that, it's like if you could somehow like set it up to where like you don't have to have this bike focus while you're camping. Where like you have this,
you just have it on the down,
almost like a recovery, almost a recovery period. Then that makes family time so much better. And I'm saying this because I've never been able to actually accomplish, that particular goal, but it's definitely a dream to get that set up. And
it's kind of nice too, because it takes a little bit of pressure off you to have to go out and perform, and that's kind of been, I'm not going to call it an Achilles heel, but it's a blessing and a curse to want to do well and to finish as well as you possibly can in everything that you like, not just a couple races, but like all races. So now racing with the team, and it's nice to be able to go out and support teammates, but even when you're done like just pouring yourself out on a course to support a teammate, you still like, I don't want to finish 8th place. I want to finish 3rd place. I'm going to push myself. And like, there's always that omnipresent, like you've got to perform, you've got to do better. So I want to take the pressure off myself for this year, especially as I'm going through this rehab process. And I want to focus on just maybe like one or two things, kind of take that triathlete mindset of like you guys just focusing on like one in particular race as opposed to.
It's a very, very different sort of mindset, but I think it's you transferring to that this year. I think you'll find some joy in that because it's.
I think that's good to hear too. I'm excited that you're kind of focusing, not necessarily on all these different races. I think there's, then you end up with an unbelievable amount of pressure on one particular race. So it's got its,
which is also another,
it's got its pluses and minuses. Double-edged sword for sure.
But if I can have less pressure on the races and I can organize my schedule better, if I can keep my workflow such that I can spend more time with my family. Like one big thing that's happening this year is my son's going to start racing bicycles. And
I'm looking at his bike right here on the trainer.
He got a new bike for Christmas, and he's riding on Zwift, and he's doing his thing. And another thing that's pretty exciting is my wife is doing triathlon now. Evan wrote her a great program. She's already started on that. She's been diligent with her swims, and she's out doing her runs, and she rode on the trainer for the first time yesterday. So that was pretty cool. I still can't believe it. She asked how long she should ride for. I'm like, 30 minutes, no more than 45. You got to get acclimated. You're going to get sore from this. So she went down and she's like, I don't like thinking about like time. I like thinking about distance. And then she kind of had in her head that she's only going to do 30 minutes, and she wanted to accomplish 10 miles. And she rode 20 mile an hour average pace, first time ever on a trainer, like riding on Zwift with resistance and whatnot. And I'm like, wait, you rode average 20 mile an hour speed? That was your first time? I'm like, that's awesome. So
that is really,
wow.
But, I want to be present for that. And I want to be able to, like, if she's going to go out and do a triathlon, and now it's something that's got like a sprinkle of something that I'm interested in, the whole running events that she's
at triathlons. Yes, this is.
No, I want to go out there and watch, and I want to support everybody else out there on the Dialed Triathlon gang, and
it'll just be fun to see Jake out there. That's gets to see what the heck we do on the weekends.
I think it'll be good.
So, and if I can. Again, better optimize my time. I can spend more time with my family, and my workflow, it suffers if I get distracted, like, ooh, squirrel, or look at the shiny thing over there. Like all of a sudden, like 10 things didn't get done that day, and like, I don't want to disappoint people. So I just want to make sure that I keep myself focused.
Your 2019 is exciting for me to watch. Like I know some of the things that are coming down the pipeline, and like I'm excited for people that are listening to the podcast. Like you guys need to tune in. Like there are so many cool things that are coming down the pipeline. Then I look across the table at Evan, and I'm like, your 2019 is so exciting for
I'm
me
actually
to
mostly
watch.
excited about Jake, so to be completely honest.
I'm excited,
but
I'm like, I look at, I look at all the people on this podcast, and I'm like, I am your fan. Like, I am just like, I'm excited, and yeah, I follow you guys on social media, and we spend too much time on social media, but like, that's because I'm your fan. Like, you guys are doing exciting things, and it's exciting for me to see you guys do it.
I do find that most of my social media is populated by actually the people at this table and the guy in Utah, but that's mostly the guy in Utah, to be honest. But that's when people talk about, like, I think the poison of social media and when it's bad, I do kind of chuckle to myself, because even though I am terrible with technology, I enjoy social media from the aspect that I follow and am friends with people I am genuinely interested in, whether it's Jake, Matt, Lance, everybody else on the Dial team. Like, most of my feed. Now, granted, I wish my feed could I wish Facebook could come up with an algorithm of what I'm actually interested in. Like, I need to, there are plenty of people posting on Facebook. I could care less what you say or do. And it's the, people at this table, people on the Dial team, other people like that are what do keep it interesting and healthy to be on. So
that could be a whole nother topic. But
seriously, yeah.
we'll not touch
next
that.
week. Next week we'll touch that.
All right. I think that's enough from all of us. Let's just run around real quick. One last thing. Lance, start us off.
Less social media. That's all I'm going to say.
As he's like just giving me thumbs up on Strava. And
that's right.
Yeah.
Evan, one last thing.
I wanted to bring this up very, very briefly. This is out of respect for the family. I will not go into any detail at all, but everybody here now knows, and I'm sure everybody from Dialed listening, or most people at Dialed listening, and people from Movement Revolution know Robbie Halterman, who's just a stalwart in the community, owner of Movement Revolution, big part of Dial Triathlon. Met up and teamed up with Jake. What was that, 2 years ago now?
Yeah, it was about 2 years ago. Yeah.
I actually remember when that, roughly around when that happened. It was right after when I got here. And just all around incredible human being. Did have a stroke on Saturday, this last Saturday. I'm not going to go into any detail exactly what has happened, but if you know Rob, people listen to this, if you know Robbie and you know that family, just tell him how much you appreciate him. He's back home today.
Yeah, which
is incredible.
If there's one thing I can say about this, I think he like flipped it off and punched it in the nose and said, "No, you're not going to do it." Because like when all this came down,
it was
and
incredible.
They were giving us all of the like, all right, this is what you're going to have to expect. This is what's going on. This is like a permanent lifeline. It almost sounds like nothing ever happened. I might be speaking out of turn here, and I don't want to give away too much information or whatever, but. My God, the guy's like Superman right now.
Yeah, there's still gonna. I'm gonna go and try to help him as much as I can from a physical point of view, because that's, I think, the one thing I can give to him as best I can. But I'm getting a lot of resources from my neuro PT friends, and I'll tell you what, when I was texting them, to keep from emotionally breaking down during this process, I had to keep it a very okay. What is he doing on an hourly basis right now? Like how are these improving? How are they deproving? And I was texting some of my very experienced neuro PT friends, and they were, guys who have been in the field for a long time, shocked by how quickly he you put it perfectly, Jake. He threw up the middle finger to this and punched it straight in the face. It's incredible.
Talking with his wife Jan yesterday, she told me that you wouldn't know anything had happened to him. You wouldn't know that he had had a stroke unless you've known him like forever, and you could see this tiny little like difference in his face. And she's like, if you didn't know him, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is a completely different story than what I was hearing a day or two prior.
Yeah, and
it's insane.
And not to go into too much detail, but it was not a small stroke. This was not a small stroke. This was massive. And
being told that there's chances he wasn't going to make it.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Exactly. And just with how much this whole community's gone through, obviously, I'm not even going to speak for myself, for the Halterman family and people around. And I was there in the hospital a lot. It's been a hard last however many months for this entire Dialed family, and to see him turn that corner as hard as he did was, good God, we needed that as a family. And
that was a win.
More power to Robbie. And hey, if you're listening to this and you just want to shoot him a message and tell him how awesome he is, please do, because that's all I wanted to say on it. We can talk about it more in the future, because there will be things that Robbie, I'm sure, will need help with, and as a community we need to come together and do for that family. But more power to him. Incredible guy. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Definitely piggyback on that. One last thing, like I'm sure the Halterman family will post something, to social media when they're ready. And I mean, man, I am just I was like punched in the gut, like getting this message, and just like we've had so much bad news. I mean, we've had a lot of things to be thankful for this year, but we've had a lot of bad news as well. And I just couldn't fathom, like the process where we really thought like, Robbie was going to have major brain damage or potentially like things much worse. Yeah. And it was just, I couldn't believe it. And now it's, today is January 1st. It's a new year and everything is looking better. Yeah. And so, absolutely. It's just like, I'm thankful for the opportunity just to kind of like turn the corner, have a sunrise and just see like, yes, things are looking up. So, so my one last thing is just like, thank you guys for listening and being part of this, team. And thank you if you're a listener, you're definitely part of the community. And we really appreciate you. We've had just so many, close calls and just tough times, this year. And we're thankful for every single one of you guys.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. Agree. Cool. My one last thing, and this will be very quick. Next week when we podcast, we will be streaming live. Now, we were supposed to theoretically be taping this yesterday, which would have theoretically still made it. Yeah. Not theoretically, would have made it in 2018. And we said that we were going to do our first one in 2019.
We didn't specify when in 2019.
Yeah, and I think Lance did say that we were going to record on, was it the 7th, January 7th? So when we record that one, if it is the 7th, if my dates are correct, and it comes out on the 9th, that one will have been live streamed. So that said, tune in because we will be recording and we will be live streaming. If you join
and Lance will have to wear pants or not.
If you join our Facebook page, you should see the live stream there. And then we will have our YouTube channel, which I believe is Dialed Podcast, up streaming as well and recording. So you can actually watch it live or you can go back and watch it later on if you prefer. You can watch it while you're playing it on your whatever your podcasting medium is. So, but anyway, we'll have that up and going, and we'll post more information up as we're going this weekend. So do chime in and let us know what you think. And while we're doing that, I think we're going to leave a little section open for taking some of your questions. So that could be fun. So, all right, guys, anything else?
I think we're good.
Yeah, Lance, when do you get home?
I think it's good. Not for a couple days, I think.
Cool.
I'll be home on Thursday or Friday or I don't know.
Yeah. Whenever you feel like it, right?
Something like that.
All right. Well, when you do make your way home, drive safe. Please say hi to the family. If you guys have been listening to the podcast, you have met each and every one of them now.
That's right. Yeah. They've all been in.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, guys. Happy New Year. We will talk to you soon. Bye for now.